To me, it look like a leprechaun to me. All you gotta do is look up in the tree. Who else seen the leprechaun? Say yeah!
I wanna know where to go. I wanna know where to go.
Give me the go.
I wanna know where to go. I wanna know where to go.
Give me the go.
Welcome to another episode of Film Seizure. I am Jeff Arbuckle.
I am Jason Oliver.
And today can be best summed up in two ways. One, we got to see the highest of heights. And two,
I think it's relative, but yeah.
then we also saw the lowest of lows.
Yes. And that may not be relative. That might be the goddamn honest truth.
Oh, God. Yeah. So we'll be getting around to that. But this is part two of our Leprechaun-oween.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Leprechaun-oween. Okay.
Yeah.
So, so Leprechaun 3. What did you think, Jeff?
I fucking loved it. Okay, so this is very much a Twilight Zone-y type of movie, I would say, because so what you have in this is, again, they switch up the mythos a little bit.
Yeah, totally different Leprechaun. Still Warwick Davis,
but again, it's there's no continuity to these movies because the Leprechaun always gets destroyed at the end.
Right.
And so what happens is this movie starts off, you see a guy coming into a pawn shop. On his hand is tattooed Lucky, but he's got a major limp. I can't remember if he's missing a leg or not. He's definitely missing a hand. And he's missing an eye, and he's got a statue with him in a bag, and he's like, I want whatever you give me for this. I need to get out of this town.
Yeah.
Whatever. So when the guy puts it up on the counter of this pawn shop and shows the Indian dude that owns the pawn shop, it's basically a statue of the Leprechaun wearing a what looks like the thing that you took to the Well of Souls in Raiders of the Lost Ark to find out where the Ark was.
Yep.
That medallion.
It's like a disc medallion with a gem in the center.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the guy's like, whatever, $20. He's like, okay, fine, I'll take it. Whatever, I'm out. And so Lucky leaves. The pawn shop owner takes the necklace off, the charm off or whatever, and it brings Warwick Davis to life.
Yes, the Leprechaun is materialized.
And he has a bucket of gold. A bucket of gold.
And the pawn shop owner takes the bucket of gold.
Well, he was going to. Yeah, so he sees it because the Leprechaun jumps down.
Yeah.
And it's like, ooh,
Oh, I'm free.
So he's off to see whatever is going on. And so the shop owner sees the bucket of gold and it's like, oh, I'm going to, this is the best $20 I ever spent. Basically, the Leprechaun then comes and attacks him for stealing his gold.
As Leprechaun does.
Right. There is a singular gold piece. Gold shilling.
His last gold shilling. Yeah.
That gets knocked out of the bucket.
Yep. Because he counts his shillings again. And he comes up with 99 once again. He's like,
right.
Oh, he kept me shilling. He stole from me.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he does kind of fuck up the shop owner a little bit. He cuts a toe off and eats it. Or no, he eats a toe off. He
bites him too, I think, right?
No, that's the other guy.
Oh, yeah.
He eats the toe off. There's something else he did to the guy. Oh, he shot him with an arrow through his arm.
That comes a little later, but yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like, he messes up. It keeps cutting back and forth between our main characters and what's going on in the shop.
Yeah, we're actually getting a little restless at first because he spends a lot of time in the pawn shop.
Yeah, and it's like I'm starting to doubt his ability to take out the rest of this cast.
Right. Yes.
So he. Long story short, the guy has a CD-ROM about mythical creatures.
Mythical creatures is like
and types in Leprechaun, and a little cartoon plays for him.
He starts telling him like it's like really shitty 1990s animation on a CD-ROM.
It's fantastic
about the leprechauns.
Right, but it tells us everything we need to know ultimately.
Sure.
But
The most important piece of information comes a little later, but yes.
yeah. So anyway, basically, the shop owner tries to cut a deal. Basically says, we'll get rid of the medallion, or you can take the medallion because you're so scared of it, and do whatever you want with it if I can keep half your gold or whatever. That, surprise, surprise, gets the shop owner killed.
Yeah.
Now that happens well into the movie, like 30 minutes in or something
Yeah,
like
because
that.
meantime, it's cutting.
Back and forth. So
Yeah.
then we meet, what was the main guy's name? The Tommy or Greg or...
He would be a Tommy or a Greg. I don't remember.
We meet this guy. He's our main hero, and he comes driving into town, and he's like wowed by all of the neon.
Yeah, he's on his way to
California.
California to start his freshman year of college.
Right. So he's like a little 17, 18-year-old dude. What's his...
I think it was Scott.
Scott. That's it.
Scott
Scott.
McCoy.
Meanwhile, he nearly has a run-in, like literally, with Tammy, a very, very charming and pretty lady who is apprenticing to become a magician.
Ooh, something happened to Tammy over the years.
That isn't her.
That's what it says.
That
It
is
can't
not
be
her. That's
but-
not her. No way. No, dude. She's no.
She was born 1970.
No way. That's her.
Lee Armstrong.
Yeah, fuck off with that. That's not her. Anyway,
I don't know.
So anyway, Tammy is needing a ride to the hotel that she works at. That she is currently the magician's assistant for a guy named Fazio. And Fazio is, I think, is meant to be a what's the two guys that used to have the Tiger Show?
God, I almost said Siskel and Ebert. That's hilarious. Siegfried and Roy.
Siegfried and Roy. I think he's played up to be like that because they're constantly like one of the other women that works at the casino is always kind of ribbing him for being gay or whatever.
Yeah, he's pretty flamboyant.
Yeah, and
kind of prissy.
yes,
Yeah.
and so she works as his assistant. Will eventually take his place because the owner of the casino, like the rest of us should, think she's really pretty.
Yes.
And she basically lets Scott? Scott was his name? Scott. Let Scott in to the casino, even though he's underage. He can't be there because this was back before Vegas became a family town.
Yeah.
So, but she figured out a way to get it. She's just like, don't gamble. Don't do that. We'll talk
your
later.
life.
Right. I'll go out with you for dinner
The
after
city will
later.
eat you up, spit you out,
Basically.
all that.
Right. So he's like, okay, fine, whatever. He's walking around the casino, and he's again wowed by everything, right? And he realizes he's got a $23,000 banknote
Yep.
in his pocket to pay for his tuition for whatever school in Southern California. My guess is UCLA or something.
I don't think it would have covered even 1 year at UCLA, even in the mid-'90s. But yeah.
UCLA is public school, though.
Yeah, but he's not from California.
Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, he decides, I'm going to start playing roulette, which is the worst to gamble and try to win big on. Yeah, no, that's not good. I mean, betting red or black is almost 50-50,
Right,
but
right.
it's still not, you're not going to make much money off that. But anyway, so he goes and cashes his check, comes back with all of his chips, and within an hour is wiped out, right? The card dealer is the lady who, Caroline Williams, who was in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Yes.
And this casino is not on the up and up.
No. She's got the classic like magnetic device
That
with the
basically
button underneath the roulette table. That
to prevent anybody from being able to really win big. So she says, well, that looks like you got a really nice watch there. And he's like, well, my grandpa gave it to me when I graduated or whatever.
Make your grandpa proud. Become a winner.
Yeah, winner.
Turn it around.
Turn around. Be a winner.
Yeah.
Gamble.
So he goes to find a pawn shop.
And he walks into the Indian guy's pawn shop, finds his body, and says, oh, I need to call the cops. And he does. And then he finds the missing shilling. And it was said that the shilling, if you have a shilling, for every shilling of a leprechaun's pot of gold that you have one wish.
And he learns this from the CD-ROM that's still playing on the computer.
Yes.
Yes.
So he takes and he's like, I wish I was back at the casino on a winning streak. And so whoop, takes him back.
And right when he makes that wish, the leprechaun is about to like stab him or
and take back his shilling
or whatever. Take back his shilling.
Yeah. And so he gets back and he's winning big. And the guy who runs the casino comes over and tells Caroline Williams, like, all right, shut this shit down, basically.
Right.
Because she can't
Taking a break.
use the trick. And so she's like, I'm shutting down for a break. See you guys later. The guy who runs the casino tells the kids, like, why don't you stay here on me? Gives them the key to the penthouse or whatever. Meanwhile, Tammy is done with one of her shows and says, oh, my God, Scott, what the fuck did you do? You did the exact thing I told you not to do, you dumb fuck. And he's like, yeah, but look, I won. Like, she's like, okay, go cash out. Go up to the room, stay there, do not let anybody in, and don't take the money anywhere. Basically, keep the money on you at all times. I'll come up and talk to you as soon as I can afterwards. And he's like, sure thing, because a pretty girl is going to go to his room when he's got loads of cash. You know, it's like... You know,
but he is dumber than
he's
shit.
a goofball.
He is such a goofball.
He's a goofball.
He's incredibly naive, super just dumbstruck by Vegas.
He's dumbstruck by lights.
Has no common sense whatsoever. Just super dumb. This
and
guy.
she is very seasoned.
Yeah.
She knows what the city life is like. Like, I imagine Scotty Boy came from like a fucking farm,
right?
And she's come from the city to live in another city, you know, or something like that.
Or she's just, you learn fast, man. If it doesn't eat you up.
She's also older than he is.
She's she's got to be.
She's in her 20s
at least. Yeah. Yes. So.
So now, Caroline Williams tells Fazio, because they're friends, I guess. They're I don't know what they are, but anyway, she's like, keep your eye on that kid. It's like, he won. He shouldn't have won, you know, because he knows that the casino cheats, the magician. So she's like, keep an eye on him. He's got this lucky charm. It's like, if you find that gold coin, it's yours.
Lucky charms.
If you find the gold coin, bring it back to me. Because when he put his gold coin on a stack of chips and he would, you know, set it on a number, it would, as the wheel was spinning, it would float to the proper number. And she saw that. So she's like, give me the gold coin and whatever cash you find, you can keep. And Fazio's like, yeah, I'm into that.
I'll just rob this guy's.
Well, he has no standards. I mean, he had no morals. He's a stage musician.
This casino is clearly like a Venus flytrap for just idiots.
Right.
Yeah.
And awful people. So he goes up. He finds the. Meanwhile, the leprechaun is walking around Vegas, just digging it, man. He is digging Vegas. There's one interaction where he meets like an Elvis impersonator, and like they're both impersonating Elvis and doing like his like poses and stuff. It's fucking brilliant. It's so goddamn adorable.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so good.
But also along the way, this leprechaun is rhyming the fuck out of everything.
We're gonna get to that count.
I know we will. We'll get to the count, but holy moly. I mean,
ramping them up.
It is coming fast and furious. I cannot count them quick enough. It's like I gotta have a notepad with me at all times.
Even the Indian pawn shop owner had one
Yes.
as a joke.
Yes.
Kind of throwing it back at him.
And he had one, and there was one where, and this was kind of funny because it came early, but you thought that the leprechaun was going to finish with the limerick, but he used a different word. He was
right.
He should have rhymed premises with consequence, but instead of premises, he was like out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leave the premises. And instead, he said, "I'm gonna leave. I'm getting out of here." Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, ha, 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 I see what you did there. You were
Yeah.
going to rhyme, but you didn't. But then, dude, that was only like after maybe his third or fourth limerick. So if he had done that at the very end, that would have landed a lot.
Oh my!
We
would have landed on the floor laughing.
Probably would have died laughing. Yeah. So poor placement on that part. Yeah.
So anyway, so Scotty is gonna take a shower, and he meanwhile, while he's getting ready to take a shower, Fazio is in there rifling through his stuff. He finds the coin, takes the coin, doesn't find any money because Scotty comes out of the bathroom. Is like, "Hey, what are you doing in my room?" Chases him off. Right then, as Fazio's leaving, in comes the leprechaun and attacks Scotty.
Yes.
Here's where we begin a kind of a trope that didn't necessarily start with a recurring theme that didn't really start with the Indian pawn shop owner, but it really starts here.
Yeah.
So the deaths in this movie turn out to become ironic and based more or less on sins.
Yeah, this is sort of where it moves into Wishmaster territory a little bit with the ironic wishes.
So what ends up happening here is that
are ironic consequences to a wish. Yeah.
Right. So he is so as he's fighting off the leprechaun, Scotty gets bitten, but he also makes the leprechaun bleed by sticking a knife in his forehead. So the blood gets into the bite wound. And then he throws that little motherfucker right out the window.
He fucking tosses Warwick Davis out the window, and then it's a dummy.
Right.
And it's amazing.
Because you see it all the way down to the bottom.
It's like 4 or 5 floors.
Yeah.
And he just crashes at the bottom of the concrete. Yep. Oh, it's great.
It's great. It's
great.
fantastic. And so
it looks great. I mean, that's such a cheap stunt.
I know.
And it's so much fun.
I know. Oh God, you knew how excited. As soon as it looked like he was winding up to throw him, my eyes got so big. Like, he's gonna throw him out the fucking window.
Oh man, I don't know why every movie like this doesn't have at least one act of defenestration.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So he gets so Scotty ends up starting to he becomes a little bit of a were leprechaun.
Yes. He is turning into a leprechaun. It's fucking amazing. Like he's getting like weird bearded hairs,
big eyebrows, a weird floppy sideburns.
Right. His face is starting to kind of wrinkle up a little bit.
And freckle.
But the best part is that he spontaneously bursts into the leprechaun Irish accent.
Oh my God, that's so great.
And it is fucking amazing. And then he hears himself, but he stops. He's like, "Did I just say that?"
And then he also gets real hungry for potatoes.
Oh my God!
At one point, he goes to the casino's buffet and gets all you can eat, various different types of potatoes.
I had no idea that I would predict the potato stereotype in the first episode would come and act to this type of realization. I mean, it is beyond ridiculous. He's ordering every sort of variation of potato at the buffet and just mowing down on potatoes. Like the first thing he does after he realizes he's hungry is he opens up his dinner that he had delivered, and there's a baked potato, steak, and some veggies.
Yeah,
and he's like all into that baked potato,
right?
And it's hilarious.
So that's his. So his,
because get it right, Irish people, we fucking love potatoes.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
you do.
That's the joke. Just make sure you got it.
Yeah, no, we know it's not a joke because it's true.
Yeah,
you guys can't live with that.
We can't live with that. That's all we eat.
Yeah,
I have to have a potato right now. Actually,
it's like, raw. Do you eat them raw?
I have an internal clock Every 4 hours, I have to eat something potato based. Otherwise, I might die. Yeah.
Or you turn into a leprechaun.
Or I turn into a leprechaun, and then it's worse.
Yeah.
I have to eat even more potatoes at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a vampire that if he drinks just a little bit of blood, he can keep from becoming a monster vampire.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But if he doesn't keep up with the regimen,
It's on.
you're just fucked.
Yeah.
Then you're having an insatiable appetite for blood.
Right.
And you're a monster.
You got to go get 3-4 people at a night.
Yep.
So Scotty's punishment for getting involved with all of this is essentially greed based because he's also turning into a leprechaun that is entirely like a physical representation of greed.
Yes.
Or at least of avarice, maybe, I guess. Because that was what that little CD-ROM was basically trying to say, was that they were very avaricious, if that's the right
They're
word.
territorial as well.
Territorial, yeah.
They don't like.
And two leprechauns do not like being in the same
They don't like
place.
each other. Yeah.
Right.
They're like, step off. This is my town.
And that comes back a little bit later.
Sure does.
So, meanwhile, so Caroline Williams gets the coin from the guy, and she shows him how it works, but it doesn't work for them because they're not the ones who made the wish. So comes along the
casino owner.
The casino owner comes along.
Yeah.
And Caroline Williams is very envious of the pretty girl.
Yeah.
The pretty magician's assistant, because she's kind of the object of sexual desire for the owner, and she's like, well, 20 years ago I was hot or whatever. And so he
and he was like 20 pounds ago too, or something like that.
Well, that was the magician.
Yeah,
the magician. Well, they both called her fat. She was not fat, but she was definitely wearing extra prosthesis to have saggy boobs and unflattering hips and stuff like that. But anyway, so he's got the coin in his hand and essentially comes around to basically saying that he wishes he could score with Tammy. Which turns her immediately into a dim-witted bimbo.
Yeah. Not only is she immediately attracted to him, but she is a bimbo.
Right.
She got bimboed.
Yeah, and so they go up to.
It sort of reminds me of Sorority Babes a little bit when they make the wishes, and the one makes the wish that he was like women were just like completely attracted to him or whatever. And what's her name? Not Brie. God damn it. What's the one actress's name? She's in all the movies with Linnea Quigley.
Brink Stevens?
Yeah, Brink Stevens. Yeah, and she goes like total bimboed.
Right, but then they're also aggressive too.
Right, yeah.
And because she starts slapping the guy around because she's in the pain.
Similar in that way as well, yeah.
So basically he goes up to his office, quote unquote, to fuck her. To get in deep with Tammy.
Get in deep.
And Caroline Williams follows and sneaks into the room, gets the coin, which snaps Tammy out of it, and basically loses. But now the leprechaun is in the room. So he creates another bimbo.
But Tammy runs out before the leprechaun shows up.
Right. And the leprechaun creates a hot babe on TV to talk to Mitch, which is the guy,
the casino owner.
The casino owner.
Yeah.
And so he creates a babe that comes crawling out of the TV to fuck him, but it's just a robot lady made of TV
it's
bits.
like circuits and wires and metal and
And he uses that to electrocute Mitch. So Mitch is guilty of lust.
Yes.
Now,
but one of my favorite things happens right here. The leprechaun is still in the room. Mitch is dead on his bed, a circular bed, which his whole hotel room
is like a fuck room.
Yeah, and it's all like totally tacky and neon lights and stuff, and a pleasure palace and shit on the wall, you know.
Oh, and neon, no less.
Yeah, and then these two guys, it's like a gangster or something that he owes money to, monster
so
guy,
there's
and is tough.
Right, and
They
basically
showed up
earlier asking for payment.
But it doesn't really matter. But it's funny for the sake of this joke. They come into the room because they're frustrated waiting for Mitch on the floor because they want to get their money. So they go up to his room, and they walk in and they see him dead on the bed, and then they see the leprechaun, and the tough goes, well, what the hell's going on here?
Because it's also been set up that he is very unopen to variation of sex.
Yeah.
Like there's he's obviously homophobic.
Right.
He's because even the big dumb guy is kind of like whatever, he's like I almost made it sound like that he was into something else.
For sure. And like the guy, he protests too much as well. Like he talks about like how his socks keep falling down, but he won't wear garters because those make him seem like a sissy.
Yeah,
and he won't wear certain types of briefs because those make him feel like a sissy. He keeps saying that. It's almost like fucking Trey Parker in Orgasmo. I don't want to sound like a queer or nothing, but
right.
I think Depeche Mode's a kick-ass band. It's like shit like that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. He comes in. It's like, so what the hell is going on here? And then it immediately cuts away to Caroline Williams wanting to basically get the body of a 20-year-old, basically drive men wild again. So it basically changes her body, tightens everything up, and so forth. You think, though, that things are going to go bad for her before they actually go really bad for her, because the magician, she goes to like say, "Hey, Mr. Magician guy, I can be your assistant or whatever," which she had talked about earlier the first time you saw them. And he found out about what the coin is and asking for a wish. So he's going to take it and wish to become...
He yoinks it.
He yoinks it.
He's like, yoinks!
She's flipping it. And he just grabs it and starts walking out.
He's a great character, by the way.
He is.
He's such a schmuck. But
there is this standee of him in the lobby of
I want it so badly.
It's so over the top.
He's in like a magician pose in his sequin outfit.
Yeah.
He's in this magician pose and with the rings connect, like real rings, magician rings that connect his two hands. And his eyes are kind of lit up green.
Yeah, and then there's also the lighting across the eyes.
And it's like sparkles.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's
so
good.
Great. I want one of those so much. So anyway, so he wants to be the greatest magician in the world. Okay, fine. So Mitch has been electrocuted. Scotty's turning into a leprechaun. Indian store owner, which you could almost say he's almost sloth.
Well, he never made a wish.
No, he didn't.
He just got fucked up for getting in the way of the leprechaun.
But he also immediately wanted to do something with the gold, so he does get punished for like moving the gold and like, ooh, like thinking about one and then wanting half of the gold for whatever. So, and now Caroline Williams' turn is here, and the leprechaun shows up and decides that, oh, you want to have a banging body.
Oh man.
Here you go. And he like basically causes her lips to start in like becoming like two big balloons. Her boobs start to expand incredibly. Her butt is so big she can't walk out of the room.
It's like a twisted version of Violet from Willy Wonka.
Yeah, except for it's just all the lady bits that you can put your penis into.
Yes, pretty much.
So she her simultaneously her face, her boobs, and her butt explode.
It's a huge explosion.
It's great.
I mean, it really is great. I mean, they pulled that off to perfection.
Man, I'm telling you, they knew what they were doing with blowing people up in these movies.
Well, to be quite honest, this is the first one of the three we've watched until we talk about the fourth one that really knew what it was doing.
Yes.
Like this one, it just all came together, man.
Yeah.
Like the script was written, I think, expressly for this purpose. Everybody who was making it knew what kind of movie they were making, and they were having fun, at least to some degree. We did find out that the actress that played Tammy, this was it for her.
She quit after
She quit acting.
acting.
She quit acting after
That's
this
so
one.
sad.
It is sad.
That's so sad because she had leading actress looks.
She did.
I mean, she absolutely did.
And she was, oh my God. I mean, especially we put her up next to the female lead from 2, just acts miles and miles around her.
Yeah, man.
She's pretty good. She held her own. But anyway,
so explosion. So all the while, Tammy is trying to help Scott figure out how to destroy the leprechaun and how he can return to normal. They ultimately find out that if you destroy all the gold, then
they take him to the hospital first. This is where the movie kind of takes a.
No, this is before the hospital.
Is it? I don't think it is.
It doesn't really matter. I mean, basically, what we'll talk about the hospital here in just a sec. They basically learn that it's like, okay, leprechauns are greedy. If you destroy all their gold, they will have no more reason to exist, and so they will basically be destroyed too. So, out of everything, yeah. So, like, he is basically, because Scotty's turning into a leprechaun. I get the impression he's also getting smaller.
Yeah,
because he's having internal pain.
Yeah, it's weird. Like they never really play that out, but he's
I would have
definitely
loved to have seen him play that out.
But he's definitely getting the powers, and this is the most magical leprechaun yet as well.
Yes, there's a lot of telekinesis.
Yeah.
There's a lot of voice throwing. A lot of a lot of stuff. I mean, he creates a fucking robot lady from television parts to fuck a guy.
He's almost like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, because he also, in that same scene in Mitch's Pleasure Palace, is all the commercials with Warwick Davis as these various different characters
and talking to
Mitch.
Right. Calling him by name. Yeah.
Yes. Which is freaking Mitch out anyway, but as well it should.
Yeah.
He was fine with hot porn star lady coming out of the TV. He's not so sure about the monster on TV. This is also the first time that he is truly treated as a monster when you see, like, so many other times people seems like, oh, great mask, kid, take it off or whatever. It's like, this is one where they're like legitimately, immediately when you see him, it's like, oh my God, there's a monster. And everybody agrees on that. I am going to get real quick to Fazio's death before we start going off into the real conclusion that starts with the hospital. So Fazio has the coin, wishes to be the greatest magician in the world. He has a new assistant, or he's actually getting volunteers out of the crowd because the assistant isn't there. And so the leprechaun shows up. I don't know what happened to that volunteer. I think the leprechaun blinked her out of existence because she got into a box and then the leprechaun came out of the box.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That volunteer is collateral damage.
Maybe she just got out off under stage and left too. Maybe she's like peaced out.
Oh, I don't know, but I've got a feeling that she's just collateral damage.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
What a shame.
Yep, she never existed. So Leprechaun decides he's going to show up. The Fazio, the great Fazio, puts him into the sawing box, right? And everybody's like, "Yeah, do it." Literally saws his fucking body in half.
Yeah. Blood
spraying everywhere. People realize that they're witnessing murder. They're freaking out. And the leprechaun's just relishing in it. It's fantastic. I love this movie. I fucking love this movie. So hospital.
I mean, there's nothing good about the hospital. It's just the one part of the movie that kind of lags a little bit.
Well, I kind of disagree there.
I don't know.
There's some bad jokes.
It's super silly. It's some bad jokes. Tammy takes. This is well before even the Saw scene, but she takes him to the hospital to get checked out because he's turning into a whatever. They don't even really know yet.
Well, his blood's green.
And his blood is green. Yeah. So they get him checked in, and that's a whole thing. you know, and they're making some jokes about healthcare and this.
Yeah,
and that.
basically the doctor's about to get started on running tests, and he's like, "This is a question that may mean life or death. Do you have insurance?"
Yeah.
Basically, the old school '90s joke.
They
of
take a
the
card-
HMO thing.
They take an EKG and it comes back in the letters "fuck you,"
but in Shamrocks,
but written in shamrocks, and they take a cardiogram and it's just like
dancing
little
leprechauns.
prints of dancing leprechauns. Oh
Yeah,
my
it's
god,
fantastic.
It's pretty silly.
It is, but
I mean, this whole movie's silly, but that was really silly.
well, then to carry on the healthcare HMO stupid jokes from the mid '90s that scared people into coverage plans. When they saw that he was carrying like stacks of cash in his jacket from his winnings, they're like, "Well, it doesn't matter if he has insurance. Look, he's paying cash. Well, we'll order up every possible thing that we might want to do as a test. Today we'll start with all the tests that begin with A.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we'll go to the B's. So they're like making jokes like that, which are, in a way, that part is kind of funny, where it's
Yeah.
like, oh man, this guy's carrying.
But then they end up leaving the hospital. And
They fight their way out of the hospital, but not before Tammy gets a call from obviously the fucking leprechaun to
Yeah.
go to the morgue,
Yeah.
where she finds a guy who's been killed by the leprechaun, like as if you didn't know what you were going to find there. And there's a lep battle between Scotty and Leprechaun.
That's right. They do have their first battle there.
And they're both showing off some of their powers and whatnot.
Yeah, and I think that's when Scott realizes he's becoming a leprechaun.
Right. And he also tells the leprechaun that I don't have the coin. Leave us alone. Fazio's got it. Go get it from him.
Right, and that's when we get
when we go back
we go to the big stage show where Fazio is the greatest magician in the world, and
then gets sawed in half.
Right, and then after that, Scott and Tammy show up, and we have our final battle.
Yeah, so there is one really cool line that happens when
Come over to the green side?
No.
Is that your favorite line?
No, that is not my favorite line. and this is not even my favorite line. But it's a cool moment when the Fazio realizes he's fucked, right? And he's fucked CO. And he's going to get sawed in half. And he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, I got you. I wish I was performing at the Caesar's Palace." And Warwick Davis says, "No, you've already had your wish." And it's just like the way he said it was like the most serious he said anything. And it's like, "No, you've already got your wish. Tough shit, pal," and kills him at that point. So final battle. Leprechaun's trying to convince Scott into joining him. And he like shows his gold. It's like, look, here's your gold. I'll split it with you, and I'll teach you how to use your powers. Everything's gonna be great. So Scotty decides to torch that fucking gold to destroy it, and then he torches the leprechaun.
Yeah.
And this is when we get.
I think the leprechaun catches on fire because he torched the gold. I think that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but whatever.
But anyway, we get floating, flaming, fucking leprechaun, and it's fantastic.
It's amazing. They've got something like a dummy or something on wires.
On wires.
And it's set it on fire and are just moving it around. And
It's great.
Fucking hilarious.
It's fucking great. It's fucking hilarious. Scotty becomes normal again.
Yes.
And they realize they still have that one coin.
Mm-hmm.
And so he gives it to Lady McCuttits and says, why don't you make a wish and we'll just figure out where we go from here. And she's like, I have already got everything I want, and gives him a big hug. Tosses that fucking coin away. It's like, at least take that to the fucking bank or something.
What does she have?
Scotty.
Really?
Yeah.
Dorko? Scotty?
Yeah.
18-year-old Dorko?
Yeah.
He's a dork.
He is a dork.
Like, this guy is a dork.
But he's rich now. He's got all that money.
Oh, he does have all the money. Yeah.
Anyway, so the movie just kind of ends.
Yeah.
That seems to be common in these movies.
Yeah, that one just kind of, all right, done.
Done. And It's fantastic.
It's fun. It's fun.
I
movie.
would have liked one scene right before the credits, finding some bum or somebody finding the coin.
Like, thanks, mister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ron Howard's brother.
Yeah. Who we forgot to mention, Clint Howard was in Leprechaun 2.
Yeah.
So fucking weird. Him and Kimmy Robertson, who played Lucy from Twin Peaks, were a married couple on vacation in L.A., and they were duped into taking the murder mystery tour or whatever the hell it was. Yeah.
So then we watched Leprechaun 4.
Yeah. So when we talked about the highest of highs,
Leprechaun 3 is
of lows,
by far and away going to be the best Leprechaun I will watch.
I think that's probably can't be topped.
It absolutely knows what it is. Like the first movie, you can say, well, it was trying something.
Yeah.
You know, it was taking a mythical monster. We're kind of beyond the era of the slasher, so we're trying something new, trying something different.
Yeah.
This is kind of the same era that like Pumpkinhead and various other creatures and stuff like that were kind of coming around.
Yeah, we'd had Troll in the 80s and Ghoulies and things, but yeah, this was a little bit, a kind of maybe a continuation of those.
Right. It's basically, well, those things kind of worked, and the slashers are gone. We're kind of getting back to more magical stuff. I mean, this is the same people who own the Warlock movies.
Right.
So, we can do stuff magic horror. The second one felt like it just got cranked out.
Yeah.
Real fast, real dirty, real bad.
It's already like fading from my memory.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
I had to think a minute ago, like, what the fuck happened?
It's just fizzling from my memory.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like it fizzled directly to the end credits.
Yeah.
Well, that's that.
Yeah.
Credits. No. So this 3 benefits from fresh eyes,
Yeah.
fresh ideas, and a thought of, well, there's a way that we can have the Leprechaun be a central character in all of these other characters' downfalls.
Yeah.
And their faults and what they're in. Fuck off, Rotten Tomatoes 0% and 24%. I think.
I think it was a
audience.
34%.
Whatever. That's
so
wrong.
1 in 3.
Well,
people
2 of 2 liked this movie.
Yes. Well, then that means that there will be 4 that don't, or no, 6 that don't.
Well, I say we punch them in the face.
Or I don't know. I can't do math right now.
Okay, it doesn't matter. We'll punch them in the face regardless.
They will get punched.
They will get
I don't
punched.
think I'm going to punch anyone for not liking Leprechaun 3.
It's 4. So those I'm punching because goddamn, if we're watching this series.
But maybe they deserve a punch if they tell me they like 4 in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, real quick before we go to 4, what's the
Limerick-o-meter.
Yeah, this is this is like
I couldn't keep
this
up.
is like fucking Mark McGuire numbers.
It is. It is. It fucking is, man. It is. It's McGuire versus Sosa. It really is because because you had multiple characters with limericks. You had to really stay on top of it. So you had the pawn shop guy who lobbed one in there. You had the jokey one by the Leprechaun, but then you had the Leprechaun himself, Warwick Davis, spouted out a grand total of, let's count them out here, 32 rhyming couplets or limericks, like 30 fucking 2 across the course of this movie.
That's amazing.
And then Scott, as he's turning into a leprechaun, he himself came up with 9. So 9, Scott beat out the first movie.
By himself.
By himself.
In 2 acts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And most of it was done in the 3rd act.
Yeah. So that's a grand total of what? Oh, my God. 35, 41.
44.
Wait. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. It's 40. 40 total. So 30 for the... Wait a minute.
No, wait. No, you said 32.
I've got it right here written down. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
32.
32
for the Leprechaun. 9 for Scott. That's 41 plus.
Right. Plus
1.
Plus 1
for the shopkeep.
Yeah. So
42.
42. Right.
That's amazing.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
25 more than part 2.
I mean, that's like one every 2 minutes.
Yes, it is.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Half the script. Half the fucking script is limericks. Wow. That's something else.
That's bravo.
And it's the best one.
Right. By far.
Yeah.
By far. Because now let's talk about 4.
Okay.
4 sucks.
Yeah, 4 is bad. 4 is really bad.
But what's the gimmick?
All right. So the gimmick is the Leprechaun in space.
Space.
Because it's pretty scary up there.
Space be scary.
Space be scary, yo. This is sort of one of the first of these types of movies to take its antagonist to space. You had Hellraiser do this already, where it took Pinhead and the Cenobites to space. Critters 4 had done it before that, but Critters 4 is sort of an outlier because it kind of makes sense for the critters to be in space.
Well, they're
because they're
aliens.
fucking from space.
Right. That
But-
would be like saying, it's like, well, technically alien.
But it's kind of a weird coincidence that Critters, Hellraiser, and Leprechaun all in their 4th movie took their antagonists to space, right?
Right. Right.
And
That's
then,
weird.
And then later you had Jason X, which was, Jason Voorhees in space.
But that was being developed for years.
Yeah. For forever, you had been hearing rumors that they were going to take Michael Myers to space. That never happened, thankfully. Although I'd probably fucking watch it. Like, who am I kidding? Who am I kidding, right? I'd watch it. I wouldn't like it, but I'd watch it. They also made a Dracula movie, Dracula 3000.
Oh, yeah.
Which was Dracula in space.
Which is essentially Planet of the Vampires,
Yes,
really.
pretty much. And then I didn't realize this until you told me, but there was a Sharknado 3 takes the shark into space.
There's one shark in space, and Finn rides it home in its belly.
Holy shit, man. So there's a long and
Tara
storied
Reid
history.
does.
There's a long and storied history of horror franchises who have run out of ideas saying, well, you know what? Space. It's pretty fucking scary up there. Let's write something with space. And that's what this most certainly is, because they don't even give you a reason.
No.
It is quite literally Leprechaun in space. You want a reason? Fuck off.
Fuck you, asshole. What are you, some sort of nerd?
I mean, this movie literally flips you off. And we'll talk about
Yeah,
that.
we're going to talk about that.
And it's like your reward for getting through it.
No, your
it's
reward.
like, fuck you.
Your reward is like getting fisted in the ass by a mace, by a morning star.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, this movie, I don't even know what it is about. I just don't.
All right, here's what I'm going to take a crack at what it's about.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So, some point in the future, we have, of course, space marines and space companies.
Because they'll always be space marines.
I'm so fucking sick and tired of space marines.
They are ubiquitous in the
This is kind of
in
why
the space future.
That's why I'm kind of done with like the alien movies, because I know eventually all they want is get them space marines back, and I'm kind of done with it.
But there's only
kind of done with
there's
it.
literally only one alien movie with space
I
marines.
know, but all the other ones, just this. I'm sorry, Alien, but fuck off. I'm done with it.
You could, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of other more valid reasons to fuck off on alien movies. than
Well,
that.
yeah, well, Prometheus would be my
I
number
mean,
one.
quite possibly the best alien movie, at least the most watchable alien movie on any given moment in your day to day, has Space Marines in it. I will watch fucking Aliens. I watch it right now.
Well, fuck
Like
you
I'm
dare
done.
me to watch a motherfucker?
I'm turning this microphone off. Fuck you. I'm gonna watch Aliens.
Yeah, there he goes, guys. He's actually sitting down.
Peace out. Game over, man.
No, I mean, okay. So here's
Jeff's
the
gonna
thing.
diss on some fucking aliens. Fuck you.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a shot as to what this movie is about, and we're gonna quickly see a trend that we see in a lot of sci-fi and a lot of sci-fi horror that is can go straight fuck itself. All right, so we've got these Space Marines on a spaceship bought for
On a space mission.
bought for by a space scientist or space rich man with space scientists on board. Apparently, a quote unquote alien has been fucking about with space trade or something.
Is that what it is?
Yes, they say it. And I'm like, this surely can't mean the Leprechaun.
And they want them to eradicate the aliens but bring back specimens.
Specimens. Yeah, what the specimen is, I don't know. But that part I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit in this.
Because like at one point somebody's playing around with scorpions and spiders. I don't know what that's all about.
It's like there's so many sci-fi movies blended into oblivion in
right.
this movie.
Because there's also an idea of like these imperial
The space trade thing in the imperial like royalty and shit makes me now think of fucking Dune.
Right. That's
Like,
exactly right.
Like they're wedging some Dune into this thing.
And you don't need to wedge the 1983 Dune or 82 Dune into anything. Especially like your fucking horror franchise with a little green monster.
No, please don't.
So anyway, so yes, he is fucking up space trade, the alien. Then smash cut to the alien who has taken prisoner some hot babe from another planet who's the princess of a king who's a social justice warrior who gave away all their riches.
Oh yeah, you got way more out of this than I did.
Yeah, some of it was through osmosis of me just staring blankly at nothing because this movie's dumb.
Yeah, because she's complaining that she doesn't have any more money. And
no clothes to wear.
And no clothes to wear.
Right. She basically
everybody treats her like a commoner now.
Right.
Right.
So she's just a bitch.
She's just another one of the riffraff.
Yeah.
Yep.
She is a highfalutin bitch.
Yeah.
Who wants to be more. And so he basically talks her into joining up with his plan to overthrow her father, become king of the space. And she's like, yeah, I'm in because you can make jewels and shit appear on the table.
Yeah, you haven't mentioned who the alien is yet.
It's the fucking Leprechaun. We first see him in a tuxedo.
Yeah,
and he hardly has an accent.
Yeah, he doesn't really have an Irish accent anymore. It's sort of like
no, he does. He goes back.
He goes back to it a little bit, but he starts very. It's British.
It's like British royalty.
Yeah, it's very very proper British.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
very posh.
Posh. Yes. And so he convinces her. The Space Marines land on the planet and go into the cave that they're in, and starts blowing stuff up. One guy tries to take some of the jewels, and the Leprechaun kills him.
Yeah.
And then the Leprechaun gets blown up, literally blown up. So like in our first act, we have our body explosion. It's not our only one, though.
No, this one actually has the most explosions.
Doesn't fucking matter.
It does not.
It does not matter. So basically, the whole goal of the entire mission is for this space rich guy,
scientist,
and his space scientist,
to
return with this regenerative, like something that can help him rebuild his body.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why they had spiders and scorpions is because they can regenerate limbs.
Sure.
So they're studying shit like that. As it turns out,
this actually sounds a lot cooler as a premise than the movie.
Because an idiot wrote it. That's why. We're not idiots.
And I would imagine this movie without a fucking leprechaun, if I'm being honest.
Honestly, I really honestly think this movie was not a Leprechaun movie.
Right.
It was something else, and they were like, we can't sell this shit. Not enough nerds in the world that will like this.
We don't have a Leprechaun 4 script yet.
Right. It's like, what they don't realize yet is that what they don't realize yet is the Event Horizon movie hasn't come out yet.
Yeah.
Or it's right around the same time.
It might have been right around the same time.
But when they're making it, they're not. It's not.
Yeah.
They're not competing with one another or whatever. So, they don't understand how they can mix that extreme horror with their sci-fi yet.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, to even call Leprechaun extreme horror is fucking laughable.
There is like some weird Event Horizon imagery in it, though, towards the end.
Okay, maybe.
With like the fleshy room and the bodies hanging from because I think it's the spider's lair.
Yeah, but okay. We're not even getting to the spider yet. Hold your goddamn
All
horses.
right.
So anyway,
Because we have yet another sci-fi thing to mix into the blender.
Well, what we find out is that the girl, the princess, who during the attack on the leprechaun, the alien, as they refer to him, they never refer to him as a leprechaun. They refer to him as an alien. When they attacked the alien, she got her hand blown off.
Yes.
And she had some other injuries. And what they discover on the ship is that she can regenerate whole limbs. Humans that can do this, basically. So space scientist decides to tell Space Rich Man about this feat. And he also likes to kiss her naked or her exposed parts while she's asleep. He's a real creep, the space scientist.
Yes, he is.
So anyway, Space Rich Man says, okay, well, we got to use her blue blood and her DNA, inject it into me, and I'll grow back my arms and bits and stuff. Because as we find out that he's basically Davros from Doctor Who, where he's just a torso and an arm and a head in a wheelchair. And so that's their plans for her. Meanwhile, the leprechaun, who was blown up, is rebirthed through a guy's penis.
Right. How does that happen, Jeff?
Because he pisses on his head and the essence shot up his pee-pee hole like one of those South American river worms.
Yeah, like the brain-eating amoebas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also the ones that go up.
Also the ones that go into your penis. Yeah.
So
your penis-eating amoebas.
Yeah. So basically, the leprechaun, the alien, wants to get his bride back, and then they are going to escape to the planet that she's from so they can take over and become king and queen of space. That's the movie. And it's up to our space marines, who are a bunch of dolts, to fucking save the day.
It's an Albert. That's an Albert Puyen plot for sure.
But he would make a better movie.
He would make it so much better.
Because he wouldn't be.
In fact, he probably already has. I'm pretty sure that's kind of the premise to Interstellar Civil War.
We need to ask him.
I know.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, that's. I was sorry, we had sidebar there real quick on our episode there. Anyway, so that's what the movie's about. Now, is this truly a Leprechaun movie?
No.
And why is that?
There is
other than the fact that I said that they never refer to him as the Leprechaun.
There's no leprechaun or Irish mythology in this movie.
The closest he gets, he sings "Oh Danny Boy."
He sings "Oh Danny Boy." There's no references to
he's wearing
gold. You know,
towards the end there is when he wants to recapture his riches to go.
It's because he's rich. That's really like the only connection. Yeah.
Right.
And that could have been like some fucking space prince alien, right? I mean, this you're right. This was not a leprechaun script.
He has the only powers he has.
The biggest detriment. Yeah. What are his powers?
He does two things. One, he is able to rebirth himself through a guy's penis by sucking himself up through his urethra. Two, he is able to manipulate certain things. Like he's able to add bombs to a person to get out of a sticky situation, and then he ends up turning that person from a male into a female. That was a dumb scene that did not need to happen.
That was so dumb.
That was really stupid. I checked. I was like, I'm done.
It was embarrassing.
This whole movie's embarrassing.
Yeah.
If you're a part of this movie, you're embarrassing.
But the biggest detriment is the Limerick-O-meter.
Tell me what the final score was.
I had to struggle to compile even 3 possible
Yeah, we
limericks.
were going to instant replays
We
and shit.
stretched it. It's like, do you think they intended to rhyme those two things, or actually in two cases, I don't even think it was a rhyme. It was just kind of close. And
But
like,
I said I err on the lyrical.
and I think
telling.
one was a nursery rhyme
Yes.
that he said. So I was like, I'll give it to you. It's a fucking nursery rhyme. It rhymes, right? It was rough. So I came up with 3.
3. That is less than
3.
half of the first one before they even knew what to do with that.
Yeah.
And what is that in comparison to the 42? It's what,
It's like 8% or
1/14th.
something.
1/14th.
Wow, 1/14th. Yeah.
So that is about 7.5, 7. About 7.5%.
7.5%.
Yeah,
Yikes.
yeah.
And it is about 7.5% as good as 3.
0% is good. As 3.
0% as good as 3. Fair enough.
This is the worst movie we've ever
It
watched
is,
for this show.
It is. We decided while watching it,
because the final act is so fucking atrociously embarrassing.
I had to stand up. I couldn't stay awake for one. It was so bad that I just wanted to stop watching it. I had to pace and walk and stand up and keep like this was the first movie I struggled truly physically to get through.
I seriously considered with 30 minutes to go when the Sarge was turned into a woman, I thought about it's like, do we need anything more here?
Right.
I mean, we've already seen a body explode.
Yeah.
Do we need any more here? Like, we saw the girl's boobies, the
Yeah.
princess's boobies, which
princess's
apparently
boobies.
when she
Oh,
shows
God,
somebody.
another stupid thing. Yeah.
So okay, so she's
It's world building, Jeff.
fuck
World
that.
building.
Fuck it. Eat my ass. World build on that. No, so basically she comes out and is like basically chastising Space Marines and this other scientist lady who was there to have another female character.
And she defiantly undoes her top.
Right, which is essentially she wears like a Slave Leia outfit.
Yeah.
So she undoes the top, and it's like, you basically kneel before me, you're all fucked or whatever.
Yeah.
And the black dude,
Oh God.
Corporal Token, as I called him, is like, well, kill me first or whatever. And basically, as she leaves, the main girl of the movie is like, yeah, she's whatever, she's alien species. If they show their breasts, that is basically a death
You've been
sentence.
sentenced to death.
Sentenced
Yeah.
to death.
Oh my God. I know. Eye roll. Yeah, the black guy, man. Oh, at some point in some time, the director had to say the words to him, do some of that jive talk, and he does, and it's embarrassing.
Yeah, at one point
It doesn't make
I don't
sense
care
in
if
any
she's-
context of the movie,
Right.
not at all. It's
at one
so
point
bad.
when they talk about her being the queen of something or another, he's like, I don't care if she's the queen of soul.
Oh,
It's like,
Ugh.
I know you just watched a bunch. I know you probably got ripped one night or stoned or whatever, and watched Delirious and Raw back to back. But quit with trying to make this guy Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
The whole
It's
Marine,
insulting.
the
It's
whole
just awful.
the whole Marines are embarrassing.
Yeah.
The,
Their whole like kill chant and everything.
Oh,
It's like,
so bad.
It's
The-
awful. It's awful.
the fact that they're partying after blowing up the Leprechaun, after one of their guys was brutally killed by the
Yeah.
Leprechaun, and then for the sexual goldfish that was the female member to just want to get fucked, and then worried that because she gave the guy a boner, that's
the
what
reason
caused.
the leprechaun to come out of his dick. Yeah. Wow.
I hate this movie.
Plus, the whole bar is this huge club. It's a club on Earth with like a fucking crystal ball and really shitty music pumping through it, and they're shooting this like it's supposed to be on the ship, and it's just
yeah.
nothing in this movie works.
Remember 10 Forward on the Starship Enterprise?
Yeah.
This it ain't.
Yeah.
Remember the holodeck?
Yeah.
This it ain't.
There is. To make even things crazier and more stupid, the scientist who goes by Dr. Mittenhands. Oh my God, Dr. fucking Mittenhands.
Yeah, I didn't realize
He's
that.
the crazy doctor.
He sounds like a Nazi mad scientist.
Yeah, he plays the Nazi mad scientist basically, and he's the one who is whatever the Doctor Who thing that Jeff
Davros.
referred to. But he
Get it right, Davros.
whatever. It's a Doctor Who thing. he gets injected with spider and scorpion DNA
With the girl's
with the
blood.
girl's blood.
With the queen's blood.
and it turns into like this whole the Fly situation where
He's part scorpion, part spider.
part spider,
part person.
part mitten hands. So what does he call himself? He calls
Mitten
himself
Spider!
Mitten Spider. Oh God, I roll so fucking hard. But that actually is probably the best effect in the movie.
Yeah, the makeup on that.
Like
That's a practical effect.
He looks really cool.
Because God knows the fucking computer effects in this movie can go fuck right off.
Dude,
it's a cartoon.
Dude, if they had taken a model and shot it and left the hand in that moved it across the lens, it would have looked better. It would have looked better.
They could have easily explained that's how they travel space is through giant hands.
Yeah.
Giants will
like
live
the
in space.
engineers in space
Yeah.
move you through space.
Right.
Yeah, instead of folding time, they take their god hands and move you.
Right.
Yeah.
Where do you need to go today, buddy?
But speaking of giants, what's the other fucking stupid thing?
There's a shrink ray for some reason, which I'm guessing this is the only reason why the Leprechaun's gold and riches has been decimated, is how it powers this machine. Because in the cargo bay, they have a shrink ray that also embiggens people.
Embiggens.
And so the lady turns it on thinking, I don't know what. She doesn't know.
It's a laser.
She probably thinks it's a laser.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't know that it's a shrink ray. And you thought, shrink him down, then eat him. Step on him. Feed him to the fucking spider. Whatever, right?
Right.
You know. Now that would have been cool if he got eaten by the spider.
Sure.
And then they sent both of them out the airlock or
Sure.
something. But anyway. So, no, it's been the flip has been switched to embiggen.
Embiggen.
And he gets big.
Oh, man.
He gets real big.
It's amazing. Like, the effect is
so bad.
terrible.
I made one Doctor Who reference. Here's another. This movie looks worse than old Doctor Who.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does.
It looks worse than anything made in the 80s.
They eventually
that was Doctor Who.
They eventually blow him out of the airlock, and when they open the cargo bay doors,
It's the slowest depressurization. It's like he's got time to think about what's happening to him.
yeah, it's like you could probably get up and casually stroll out of the room before the depressurization takes you out of the airlock.
Compare it to a movie.
The cargo is just barely moving, like barely rumbling.
Compare this to something we're going to talk about next year.
Okay.
Jason X.
Yeah.
Itty bitty
that'll be
little
next year, huh? Yeah.
itty bitty little hole in the wall, and Jason got sucked through it.
Yep.
And a girl.
Yep.
Got sucked through it, and like fucking condensed, like, and then out.
Yeah. Right.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Because I
That's-
can't believe it.
That's how space works.
Exactly. Why for space? That's the answer right there. That's how it works. Then he like has this really bad wobble, like a fucking water balloon.
Oh man!
And before he explodes.
Before it explodes, we got another explosion.
And did the spider explode too? Did we have 3
How did
explosions?
they kill the spider? I don't remember.
Froze it with the nitrogen,
Yeah,
and then he
and
said,
it-
"Help me, help me!" Like
And
the
then it
fly.
exploded. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the fly. Yep.
So we had 3 explosions.
3 explosions. Shitty movie.
Right. When we also had 3 limericks.
It's almost like they thought they could replace 10 limericks or 12 limericks or so with an explosion, and it would
you
make up for
cannot.
it. You cannot.
You cannot. They thought they would take something original and replace it with a Leprechaun movie, and no, you cannot. This could not. There is no fucking way this was a Leprechaun movie
It's
from Inception. There's no fucking way. There
way.
is no fucking way. And the fact
And
that
it's
the
the same
same guy
director,
who
yeah.
made both of these movies, that is so
It's
depressing.
flabbergasting.
It is a literal like opposites.
Uh-huh.
Like how can you go from like I can understand you do something good and then you kind of have like a little hiccup and you kind of like oopsie and then you shoot back up, right? Well,
Yeah.
he doesn't get another shot. This was so bad, It's like, get the fuck out of here.
it-
We're going to the hood.
It almost kind of It almost feels like 4 came about because of convenience, and the same director got it because he had the crew, right? And it was sort of a timing issue. And it was like, yeah, sure, I'm available. I've got my crew. We already have some shit from the last one. We can get the makeup guy. Yeah, we'll all come back and do it. But yeah, it's bad.
It's bad. I mean, this is. See, here's the thing. Last month we did Poison Ivy movies, and we had practically nothing to say about the 4th one.
Yeah.
Because it was just bad. I mean, it was just a bad movie. There's a big difference between being a bad movie in a lower rent series than a franchise of 8 movies, all featuring the same monster, if not the same actor, the same monster, and have something be this bad,
and this so far and away from the connective tissue. I mean, none of these movies connect that we've watched so far.
Not story-wise, but there's something there.
But there's an anchor to them,
right?
And it's not just the fucking Leprechaun,
right?
It's
not
more.
just
It's more than that,
right?
Yeah.
There is a. This movie tried to have its cake and eat it too by being serious, and the Space Marine movie, and it being this weird tongue-in-cheek comedic horror movie, and it doesn't work on either level. It was kind of like what we were saying before we started watching these movies. You were talking about seeing scary stories to tell in the dark, and you said that they tried to straddle a line for being for kids and for adults, and it couldn't deliver on either.
Right.
And this is exactly what you have here. But it's not that they just couldn't deliver. They spectacularly failed. It would be like me being shown for 30 minutes how to do a pole vault. And then they say, okay, Jeff, go. And I go, and I do it, and I hit the pole vault. I do it. But the thing is I don't hit the little tray for it, like where you're supposed to put the pole vault. The pivot thing. And then I'm not just like, I start like, it doesn't bend right, and I just get fucking catapulted out of this fucking stadium.
Oh.
That's how bad this is, right?
I was gonna say you don't hit the pivot thing right, and you don't even get off the ground. Like you just face plant in front of the cushion.
No, I'm not even in the same fucking stadium anymore. It's like, that's how bad this is. This isn't even in the Leprechaun series anymore.
But to follow your metaphor, to launch yourself, at least you got the physics right. I don't think this got anything right.
Well, they got Warwick Davis.
They got Warwick Davis.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. So they at least got the physics right. As in the physical being that was the Leprechaun.
Oh, sure. Holy moly.
But no, it is.
It's the worst.
I mean, like, I cannot find any reason to ever watch this movie again. I had said that so far, after watching 3, I had said so far, this is the only one that I will endeavor to watch again. 2 is bad. 4 is twice as bad.
Yeah.
Like, 2 isn't even as bad as Warlock 2 or Poison Ivy 4, which is our
very true.
Which is our level.
Yes.
You know. All of those Italian movies we watched are better than 2.
Way more fun.
And way better than 4. 1 is fine.
1 is fine. And 1 is the thing. I mean, it is.
1 is fine. And if it was ever on TV or somebody said, hey, you want to come over for movie night? We're going to watch Leprechaun 1. Sure. I'm going to hang out. Yeah. It's fine. But 3 is the one that I want to host and tell people I want to watch this movie. Check this shit out.
Yeah.
You know, that's the one I want to watch. 4, I want the Men in Black to come and use their little glowy stick on me so I can forget that I've ever watched it, and then leave Post-it notes all over my apartment like a fucking madman.
How are you going to make sure you don't watch it again?
Leave Post-it notes like I'm a fucking insane person saying, do not ever watch Leprechaun 4. You will hate. You will hate.
You should you have the 4-disc, the first 4 movies on 2 discs. No, you can't.
I can't.
Oh my God!
I'm stuck with 4 forever.
You have to buy a standalone 3. You know you have to. There's got to be one out there.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm sure it's even on Blu-ray. I bet we can get a real good looking one.
Because on the other side of 3 is 4 on your disc. Oh, that's yikes! I mean, you run the risk, Jeff, of accidentally putting it in on the wrong side.
That's true. That is very true, but I doubt I ever will.
That's a danger.
I made
though.
sure to put it back in the case with 3.
You should just like mark X's on it.
Ooh, I could.
Yeah.
I could totally fuck that up.
Yeah. Just deform it.
But then I got to make sure I'm fucking up the right side.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem with those dual side discs.
It is. I know. It's like, oh, which side is this supposed to be on?
Even with 2, if it was a bad movie night and we wanted to just get fucking drunk and rip on that lead actress's weird line delivery, that's fine. 2 would not be something that I would ever endeavor to watch again. But if it was happening, I wouldn't turn it away immediately out of disgust. 4, I might throw the fucking TV out the window.
Yeah. I'm with you.
I mean, I want to start a whole fucking blog where every day I write something about why I hate Leprechaun 4. And I could probably go for years.
It gave me physical pain, and I'm not making that up. I could not sit on the couch and watch it any longer. I had to stand up and stretch. Anything to like keep my body from like going into hibernation or whatever. Like I was having a defense mechanisms were attacking me, saying you should stop watching this movie. I forced myself through the last 25 minutes at least.
At that moment where the gender swapped commando guy, if I would have said, "What do you think about?" and not even finish with turning this off, would you have immediately said yes?
I don't know if I would.
Would you have said yes to just fast forwarding?
Maybe.
And seeing what's happening.
Maybe. I might have been okay.
Because
with
at that point we were beyond the boobs and we were beyond
the boobs.
We were beyond the boobs and we were beyond the prerequisite.
Would that be the name of your autobiography? Beyond the boobs?
Yeah, if we're talking about like me talking about B movie enema or something, yeah.
Beyond the boobs.
Beyond the boobs.
Yeah. I might have been okay for the skippity doo.
Skippity doo.
The skippity doo.
Yeah, we could have probably fast forwarded.
The Leprechaun, he didn't even seem like he was having fun in this one.
No, he didn't. He really didn't. Like, I'm sure he enjoyed working across from a Baywatch actress.
Sure.
Most of the time, she seemed like she was kind of having fun.
And that chick from Young and the Restless. She's pretty sexy.
She is, but she's worthless in this movie. There's nothing. There's no reason for her to even be there.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, like you could have taken out the space princess completely, made the scientist a hidden space princess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then have him go after her, and then give her the opportunity to play with, I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is too smart for what they wanted to do. Because clearly that's not what they were going for.
They didn't give a shit.
But you could have had her struggle with being, it's like, ooh, I could rule everything, or I could just be a halfway decent person. Like, you could have her be an interesting character. Instead, you have 2 female uninteresting characters, and one that just wants to get laid, causes a boner that a leprechaun was birthed out of. And you have a bunch of uninteresting dudes, Leprechaun included. He's uninteresting in this. That's a fucking deadly sin right there. Talking about tying it back to Leprechaun 3, this is a deadly sin for him to be uninteresting. That's horseshit.
I'm curious how much money this even cost. It was $3 million. They spent $3 million in this movie.
You could have bought 3 million junior bacon cheeseburgers at fucking Wendy's for that.
I mean, the first Leprechaun was made for $1 million.
It's way better.
It is way better.
How much did Leprechaun 3 cost?
Hold on a second.
I'll venture a guess of 1.5 million.
1.5 is your guess?
Yep.
Let's see. It's a couple clicks away.
What we got?
All right. Leprechaun 3 was a budget of 2.5.
Okay.
But
well,
still less.
Still less and way better.
Well, they had all those Vegas shots. They had to probably get a lot of permits.
Is it that hard in Vegas to get permits to film?
Well,
a lot of movies take place in Vegas.
It's not that it's hard, Jeff. It's that you got to pay.
Yeah, sure.
Because everybody's greasing their wheels in Vegas.
Sure. Fair enough. Anyway, watch 3, fuck 4. No, wait. Watch 3, fuck 1, kill 4.
Okay.
If we want to play that game.
Well, yeah, because Jennifer Aniston.
Sure.
Yep.
I'd rather have I'm in love with the girl that was in 3 that quit after this because fuck this industry.
She's like, this is where I'm at. I've tried for 4 years, and I'm
fucking Leprechaun.
I'm in Leprechaun 3.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah. It takes a little longer usually, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's your life. You can leave.
But
that's cool.
Half a decade, she was everything she could, and
I kind of feel like this is
she
the
ended up at Leprechaun 3.
This is kind of like since I know these movies have to be made by scumbags. This is kind of where I feel like saying, I hate to see her go, but I love to watch her leave.
Oh, take us out, Jeff.
All right. So new episodes every Wednesday, filmseizure.com. New episodes of Monster Mondays. What day is that on?
Mondays.
Sure it's not Thursday?
Positive.
Okay, Mondays. Monster Mondays is on Mondays, also at filmseizure.com. You can listen to us at Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and the TuneIn. We also upload stuff to YouTube if you like to watch stuff there or listen to stuff there. We don't really have any visuals. I mean, we don't put pictures of us, so I feel like that does help.
That would be kind of funny.
Oh, yeah, just goofy looks.
We should do like just some stills of us podcasting and making like robot poses, and then just put a bunch of those in succession, like maybe 20 or 30 of those, and it just loops.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
It'd be funny to see how that lands, like with what we're talking about.
Yeah,
kind of like playing a movie or playing music over a movie and seeing what lines up.
Yep.
Anyway, also, you can always email us at filmseizure@gmail.com. Find us at Facebook and Twitter at filmseizure. Fridays, check out B Movie Enema. I write about bad things.
Yes,
but I will never write about Leprechaun 4 because that means I would have to watch it again. I ain't gonna do it.
No,
ain't gonna do it. Not even worth it.
Once was enough.
It would just be as big of a font. F, scroll down a little bit. U, scroll down a little bit. C, scroll down a little bit. K, and then real little U.
Yeah, and you know what it should also include?
What
is the final still, or not the final still, but the grand finale of Leprechaun 4. Is the leprechaun's giant hand floating in space, turning to camera, and flipping off the crew and the audience.
And the audience. Ostensibly.
It's ostensibly the audience. Yep. That the movie Leprechaun 4 maybe is more self-aware than we realize because it fucking literally tells you to fuck you at the end. That is
amazing.
Kind of amazing.
It's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
I'll give it 1/10 of 1 point for that.
Yep.
So that brings the grand total to, well, there's boobs. 3. I'll give it 3 out of 5 million.
Yikes.
Anyway, so until next time when we're coming back. We're going back to Earth because we got to go to the hood.
We're going to the hood. And we're going back to the hood. Yeah.
So this has to be better than 4. I already know Leprechaun in the Hood is better than 4. It's probably my second favorite now that I think more about it because it also kind of knows what it is.
All right.
And I've got kind of a story to tell about that.
I've seen this one before as well, and I have a story too.
Okay. And that's just a matter of remembering to tell the story, but I'll make a note.
All right.
But anyway, so that's next time as we continue our Leprechaunoween.
Leprechaunoween.
Sure.
Yeah.
Until next time, I am Jeff Arbuckle.
I am Jason Oliver, and you have been listening to Film Seizure.
I want to go.